Broadcast Row for the Now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardell. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. And it starts now.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. This is Mardell, your host. And wow, everybody's in just a great mood today. Last night on SmackDown, AJ Styles defeated Jinder Mahal. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was also trying to avoid all types of spoilers. And of course, last night, the 30 for 30 Nature Boy. That debuted last night, and everybody was a-buzzing. Twitter actually stayed up pretty late to actually watch. Once again, welcome to the program. On this November 8th, 2017, the number is 844-627-3352. We're going to talk a lot about SmackDown. We're going to talk mostly about Survivor Series. Touch upon some other things. We also got some guests joining us on the program this morning. It's about 9:06 Eastern Standard Time. Once again, the number is 844-627-3352. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Live Morning Show. We're streaming live right now on Twitter, on Facebook, on thewrestlingmorningshow.com. And of course, we have our very own app available to download in iTunes and Google Play. Well, they returned last night. They're overseas. They're in Manchester. This time it's SmackDown. Now, we knew what happened 2 days ago when, of course, we saw the New Day, and they caused a distraction. And, of course, we have new tag team champions. That was probably the one thing I was upset with about the entire process. The one match on the card I was very excited about were the Usos versus the Shield. So now what's going to happen? I even had a conspiracy theory that with the tag titles, that possibly Gable and Benjamin would win against the Usos. We later find out that's not the case. And they're throwing everything out next week. Literally everything. Roman Reigns comes back. Brock Lesnar comes back. You know there has to be a retaliation of some sort with Raw on SmackDown. They come back to the States, so this should be very interesting. But the show opens last night with Shane O'Mac in the ring. Let's refresh your memory from about 11 hours ago.
To Houston. Thank you for that. What's up, Manchester? Survivor Series, as everyone knows, is the first time SmackDown gets to go head-to-head with Raw one time a year. November 19th will mark down in history. Mark it down, because the Raw group will never, ever again be able to say that SmackDown is the B show. We are going to be known as The Show. And Survivor Series, despite two mega brands going at it, this year it's personal. And specifically going back to what happened to Daniel Bryan. I hold my sister Stephanie and Kurt Angle responsible for locking Daniel Bryan in their office and then sending Kane in to do his dirty work against our general manager. Kurt Angle, hear me out. This is a very personal message. For what happened with Daniel Bryan, I'm going to be standing right across from you in this very ring, and I'm going to get my payback for what you did to Daniel Bryan, so get ready. And speaking of our illustrious general manager, he will be back next week. You see, because with Daniel Bryan, again, he resembles what everyone in that locker room is. SmackDown, we have a lot of fight here. And just because we can get knocked down doesn't mean we stay down. And continuing about fighters, I'm about to bring out a few that did a very phenomenal thing in my view last night. These guys are all about fight. They fired a shot across the bow of Raw last night that's still going. Ladies and gentlemen, the New Day. Oh, Manchester!
Okay, yeah, we're not going to be sour about that. The number's 844-627-3352. The New Day, ladies and gentlemen, they come down. This is awesome. We've always talked about this. We also joke about it. Kevin Owens, he's baking. And we're going to see Kevin Owens here shortly. New Day's going to get in the ring right now, and they're going to talk briefly. What they did right now is they recapped what happened last night in Raw. A lot of vignettes going on. It's almost semi-annoying. It's like we didn't watch. I mean, come on now. Let's go back and listen to this audio. If for some reason you missed it last night, New Day's in the ring. Shane O'Mac stays in there. Here we go.
We made him look pretty silly. Yikes. Now, Shane. I love it here. I really do. I love it here, man. Hey, Shane O'Mac, look, it was not our intention to have Seth and Dean lose their Raw Tag Team titles. That wasn't our intention. But such are the consequences of putting Raw under siege, baby! And I mean, honestly, considering the fact that they are part of the Raw roster, what are they gonna do?
Nothing! You see, Shano, a couple weeks ago, under your charge, we led the siege and looked the Monday Night Raw roster dead in the eye and wanted them.
For those of you in the States and probably here, it means what happened to them.
We beat them down!
Beat them down! Beat them down! And look, man, we are fully prepared to accept full repercussions for our actions.
Yeah, and please believe that if Raw makes any attempt at retaliation, your boys, the New Day, will be the first ones in line to beat them back to Mondays.
You say, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys empower everyone here. You have the SmackDown spirit. You're all about Team Blue. Last night, you went out there on a complete whim. You were here. You invaded Raw under siege. That is awesome. Well, because? Because? What? Big.
Now don't do this.
New Day rocks.
Yeah. There you go.
What a great reception. Glad he came out in the beginning of the show while the crowd was still hot in attention. Sami Zayn is with him. And here's Kevin Owens. I kind of dig that new shirt, Fight Anyone.
That was the stupidest, most painful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Shane, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you are not cool. You're not cool. And you probably should never, ever dance again.
Wait. Hold up. You of all people telling someone how to dance? Have you seen yourself on your entrance with that?
Don't listen to
You
him.
look like a fool.
Don't listen to him. See, because we're here with something that's actually important to say. Shane McMahon. Buddy, I know you're having a hard time dealing with the fact that I beat you at Hell in a Cell. And now you're acting out and trying to cope with all your daddy issues. But do not punish the rest of SmackDown for your shortcomings.
Right, the truth is, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens could have showed up on Raw, and we could have beat up the entire Raw roster if we wanted to. But the thing is, we're men of honor. We're men of integrity. We do things the right way, and because that doesn't jive with the Shane McMahon propaganda machine, you deliberately set us up to fail.
Sami, this is exactly the attitude of why the two of you are not at all representing SmackDown Live.
First of all, I'm not representing SmackDown Live because I lost a qualifying match to Randy Orton, when in reality, I didn't lose to Randy Orton. I lost to a low blow.
Yes, Sami.
And Shane, you did nothing to fix that. And if I had done that, or if Kevin had done that, we would be suspended, we would be fined, or even worse, maybe we'd be fired.
The other reason is Kevin Owens also lost his match to Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, well, you know what, Shane? It's a crime that we even had to have qualifying matches, because the bottom line is we are the top two superstars on this roster. So what's the deal, huh? What is it, Shane? Are we not entertaining enough for you? Do you want us to get in the ring and dance and sing with you like the little New Day puppets?
Wow. Wow. I think they would like to see that, but I mean, in all honesty, the only puppet that I see is that 1930s paperboy looking, never been to his gym in his life looking ass Sam Zayn. That's what I see.
Kevin, you have your hand so far up Sam Zayn's butt that every time he brushes his teeth, which I hear is not very often, you get a manicure.
That's so funny. You guys are so funny. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna find real funny? I'm gonna find it really funny when Team Raw beats Team SmackDown and you have no one to blame but Shane McMahon.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys don't care about SmackDown. You have no brand loyalty. You have nothing down there. You don't care, period. But you guys walk around here like you're owning the place, like you're entitled. And Sami, I see you there laughing. So why don't we kind of find out a few things? Since you seem so entitled, what I think you're entitled to is a match here tonight. I think you're entitled to a match, Sami, against, well, let me think. Who? Kofi Kingston. Yeah! And by the way, that match begins right now.
Okay, so that was the first match right off the bat, and they bring up a great point. This is what I want to talk about right now. They bring up a great point. Where's the brand loyalty? A couple things I thought of, and I love to play conspiracy theories. I love to add just sometimes it could come out as maybe slightly delusional with some of this, but wouldn't it be interesting if Sami actually turned his back this entire time? You know, he there was a time where they hated each other. Sami and Kevin Owens turned his back against Kevin Owens. I mean, that's interesting. And then he becomes the fifth man, because the fifth man is still not announced. They had a match between Randy Orton and Rusev. Rusev wins. He joins Team SmackDown. That didn't happen. That was just a thought. I don't think it's really going to happen, but you get to play out loud, and it's not the worst thing to play out and talk out loud and talk to you folks about. If you guys have a comment, a question, or concern, the number is 844-627-3352. Let me know what you guys think about that. I also think there is going to be some sort of situation where I think they might cost it. They might actually cost SmackDown at Survivor Series. Maybe not the 5-on-5, but there's no way they're going to leave Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens out of this. And you know what? I mean, let their bodies heal for a second and let them join in, let them do something. We have a lot of show, ladies and gentlemen, coming up. I do want to just talk real quick about the Sami Kofi. That kicks off, of course, the first match. Paperboy chants throughout the match, which was awesome. It was a solid match, low energy in the very beginning. And there were still a lot of Sami fans in attendance. Took an annoying commercial break. A very, very solid spot by Kofi, using almost the ropes as a slingshot. And that was awesome. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about. And then, match is over. Kofi wins. KO actually attacks Kofi. You think there was going to be a little bit of a rumble, and no, there is not. So, we have New Day, and New Day really has technically nothing going on. Some of these matches I thought were already set in stone, but there's so many players right now. They're technically not involved with Survivor Series. I'm curious, where will the Shield, Roman Reigns, fit into this? So looking forward to Seth and Dino taking on, of course, the Usos. And that's not going to happen. I was really excited about that match for the card. I know a lot of people were. So we're going to turn our attentions real quick. Jinder was backstage, and I tell you what, we talked about this last week, where Jinder gives this kind of promo where the comedy was over. The comedy was over when it came to Jinder. And he also speaks last night, and there really was not a tone of comedy in the air. He's preparing for his match against AJ Styles. And even inside the ring, there's a little bit more of a vicious tone when it comes to Jinder. We talked about this in the very beginning of the show, obviously, and if you don't know, I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but the bottom line is AJ Styles defeats Jinder Mahal last night. I didn't think it was going to happen, let alone on a SmackDown. I didn't think it was going to happen because next month they're going to India. Okay. Now, you guys know the secret is the Indian announcers actually portray Jinder as a hero. And in front of the 1.3 billion people that he represents, could he win it in India? I thought the entire trajectory of the WWE Championship would get to Royal Rumble. I thought AJ would defeat Jinder, and later on that night, Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble. Let's go ahead and take a listen to Jinder Mahal. I do like the tone he's taking. He also, after he lost, he took a completely different tone. We'll get to that in about a second.
Jinder, we just saw the reason why you're going to be defending your WWE Championship against AJ Styles tonight. However, you've been preparing to face Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. How's this changing your mindset?
Renee, earlier today, I was dining with some of Manchester's elite. And when the server brought the first course, I asked her to refer to it as AJ Styles, because AJ Styles is the appetizer to the entree that is Brock Lesnar. Now, AJ Styles is a formidable opponent for any mere man, but I am a modern-day Maharaja. And AJ Styles has disrespected me time and time again. So tonight, I make a meal out of AJ Styles, and at Survivor Series, I feast on the beast.
Jinder better know a hungry beast.
Okay, so first of all, I love the fact that he's using the term the Beastmaster as he talks. He's going to conquer Brock Lesnar. So this entire thing, they may have to say things like it's either going to be AJ Styles or Jinder versus Brock. I'm still surprised about this entire thing, to be honest. First of all, I love AJ Styles. Love it. But is it the right time? Don't we want to see possibly, Survivor Series, they probably need a little bit more of a marquee name. And definitely it's AJ Styles. But there is an element where, let's face it, people wanted to see Brock beat up Jinder. So obviously this match closes the night. We talked about this in the beginning of the program. AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal, the WWE title. Crowd finally woke back up. They were very hot for it. I tell you what, Jinder looked very good in this match. He looked good. He looked tough. Now, obviously, AJ carried the entire match. AJ had all his great spots, and it lasted a while. They gave him some time. And in true fashion, when it was time to go home, about 2 minutes before the top of the hour, they did so. AJ Styles wins and becomes the new WWE champion. Congrats to him, of course. He's one of the all-time greats, maybe the very best out of any company, out of any promotion, out of any brand right now in the world today. AJ Styles at 40 years old. A little surprised by it, as I mentioned. No secret, a little surprised by it. After this, Jinder is visibly upset. He's pissed off and filing this transformation into a vicious heel, attacking the Singh brothers. He's pissed. Finally, we see this emotion. We saw this emotion last week from him as well. So I'm beyond curious because I also asked this question on Twitter. How long does AJ have the title? Some of the options were he drops it in India, which I think could be the most realistic. He drops it at Clash of Champions, holds on to it till Rumble, holds on to it till Mania. I'm curious what you think. Obviously, these Twitter poll questions will be up for a while. Please answer that. Or what you can do is call or text 844-627-3352. We are probably going to take a small little break here. We have Coder coming up. We also got some other special guests who are going to be joining us as well. This is the Wrestling Morning Show. We do it every single Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Nature Boy, the 30 for 30 documentary, but we're not going to spoil anything. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. We'll be right back after this.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show.
Progressive brings you Flowetry with Flow.
A tool called Name Your Price. Get a grip on your spending like an industrial vice. It's nice. Beats rolling the dice. I prefer brown rice. Don't carry dumbbells when you walk on thin ice. Splash.
Get insurance based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. Visit progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ryan Peck drives to rural towns and children's hospitals every week, bringing music to kids who need it most.
Ready?
He dreams of showing people the importance of music in a child's life. American Family Insurance is helping make that happen right now. Wherever your dreams take you, we'll be there to protect you. Learn more about American Family's auto insurance at amfam.com. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53783.
Wake up and join your favorite morning online gathering. Call or text 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. Now back to the Wrestling Morning Show.
Okay, so I'm back, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. A very special edition. Last night, finally, years in the making, the Nature Boy on ESPN And, of course, the news of AJ Styles becoming the new WWE champion. This is Mardell, your host. Follow us at Live Morning Show. Of course, we're streaming live on Facebook or streaming live on Twitter. All information you need and a free stream on thewrestlingmorningshow.com. When this show goes off the air, give us about 90 minutes or so, then it pops up in podcast on demand form in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. You may notice this. I don't ask for you guys to make donations, or there's donations plastered everywhere, or I beg you for donations. It's not my style. We're probably never going to do that. All I ask you to do, first of all, listen to the show. Tell your friends about it. And maybe, if you'd like, follow us on Twitter and subscribe to the podcast in iTunes. That's it. That's all I ask for. Okay, the number is 844-627-3352. Call or text. You must have a thought. Some things have gone down in the last 2 days in Raw and, of course, SmackDown from last night. Well, we're going to take a very, very small break. When we get back, the Code Break with Brent Coder. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. It's Mardell. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for one of my favorite segments. He is joining us a little bit early, and I appreciate it. It's time.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
All right, it's the Code Break with Brent Coder, and Coder is on the line. Good morning, Mr. Coder.
What's up, Mardell? Good morning to you, brother.
All right, we have a lot of things to talk about. We both watched the Ric Flair documentary, but out of respect, and I've been a firm believer of this my entire life, you cannot talk about a show for at least 7 days. Is 7 days enough time to talk about a show?
That's a good question.
Great question, right?
It was certainly, yeah. Well, I mean, you're right though, because people will be watching it later, and we certainly don't want to ruin anything for those that are going to be watching the documentary. I watched it myself last night. It's pretty awesome, but I won't run it.
I tell you what, I have to say it was pretty awesome as well. I even gave out a Twitter poll because as I'm trying to kind of get notes and prepare for the show while I'm watching SmackDown, I actually asked the question, when will you watch Nature Boy 30 for 30? And over 40% said, kind of late, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. So there's no way they got to it this morning. So they're probably going to watch it tonight. We're not going to spoil it, and we're definitely going to save it. Maybe I'll give you a call this week, and we'll do a small little recap on that. But that was awesome. I was excited for this. But the biggest news to come out on a very, let's just face it, a dreadful SmackDown Live, the Maharaja falls to the phenomenal AJ Styles. What I did, two people on Twitter actually said, did you hear? Did you hear what happened? I said, I don't want to know any spoilers. And it's also very hard to tweet and follow some of the hashtags because people try to ruin it. But give me your thoughts. Did you see it coming? Give me your opinion, Mr. Coder.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily saw it coming. I certainly thought it was a possibility. Obviously, we saw, titles change hands on Raw the night before last. So, it wasn't a total surprise to me. I thought we were definitely going to see, Jinder Lesnar, was the most likely outcome, certainly. But it didn't come as a huge surprise to me. I know, though, that you had Jinder holding it at least all the way into the Royal Rumble. At one point, it was until Mania. I mean, you totally marked out for this guy. And so I got to call you on it because obviously none of these long, drawn-out predictions that you've been telling me are going to happen. We got. Who knows what happens here? I mean, could Jinder get it back and hold it till WrestleMania? Certainly, but what I said weeks back when we got into this is, anything can happen. It's wrestling. That's way too long out to think about WrestleMania, to think about Royal Rumble. Maybe it was a swerve tonight. Maybe it's something that happens at the last minute, but that's the point. I mean, anything can change in wrestling. So I try not to make predictions more than a week out if possible. It's just, you never know. And, with so many injuries and different things that can happen, it's one of the hardest things to predict.
Okay, I have to stop you. When you hear the bell, I got to stop you. Now, first of all, yeah, my predictions were a little bit off. I don't know why you're a little sour. You're obviously maybe a little hungover. I don't want to be presumptuous. But I'm going to ask you this question because it was a Twitter poll question from last night. While most of you are watching 30 for 30, let me ask you, if you had to guess, how long does AJ Styles keep the title? Options: drops it to Jinder in India, which they're going next month to India. This is why it was a surprise to me. He loses at Clash of the Champions, which is the next pay-per-view. I believe it's on the 17th. Has it till Rumble, or has it till Mania? I'm starting to think the great Indian hero, that is the 1.3 billion people, I think he drops it in India. That was going to be the follow-up question, but I had to ring the bell and cut you off because obviously you were attacking my prediction styles. And mind you, if you listen to the show, there's only been one prediction out of the 100 predictions, two actually. Is when I said a while back that Jinder would retain, I think Brock would retain on something that we did. But go ahead. What do you think, man? India has a huge part into this. There's also Clash of Champions. Or do you think AJ holds on for a while?
I mean, the odds are he holds on to it for a while, but, certainly India makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, anything can happen. So I'm going to go with he holds it on to it for a while. I'll say at least until the Rumble.
Okay. Well, traditionally the champion does wrestle somebody. This should be interesting because now there's a million ways to play it. Say if Jinder actually gets another match at the Rumble and he beats AJ. Does this set up Cena? All right, I'm going to take your advice. Let's cool off. Let's see where this goes. Let's see after India. They're there for 2 days. And, of course, we already know this. The announcers actually pretty much bill him as a great face when they translate to the people in India. I was excited. By the way, I have to tell you this. It's something that you pointed out, something that I love, something I thought about. When Jinder attacked the Singh brothers tonight and was visibly upset, and then even had a promo backstage. Actually, this was, I believe, in the first 30 minutes of SmackDown. I mean, that's a very good heel, kind of tough heel that we've been waiting for. He did it last week and definitely did it last night. Did you notice it? Do you like it? It's a little too late. What's your opinion?
Well, I mean, obviously it was a little late after the match, after he dropped the title, but, it was good to see. And, obviously he's going to feud with here with AJ, for a while. He's definitely going to get his another title match. And, are the Singh brothers a part of it? Is he shedding them? Are they no longer going to be, with him doing the introductions? Does he become a more vicious heel? That's what I've been hoping he would become. I think he's better off that way. Ditch the humor, and I don't think it's a big deal to lose those guys, to be honest. I think he's been built up enough where he doesn't necessarily need them. They do add an aspect of fun. Obviously, it adds a layer to, him as a heel, and obviously it adds the kind of anything can happen thing to a match with the Singh brothers. But I loved the retaliation after the match and taking that out on them. It's everything that I've been saying Jinder should be, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks. So I've enjoyed it. I think it really is the character he should be as a heel, and hopefully it continues.
I hope it continues too. It just adds to another level. And really, there's this Jinder heat that I don't know how to describe it, but it's this unique heat that he gets. And it's mostly just hatred, pure hatred for him, which I tell you what, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. So that was the big swerve, the big situation that occurred last night. We love AJ Styles here on the program. We really do. And I personally love Jinder Mahal. And I knew there was going to come a point where AJ was going to go over. I didn't think it was going to happen on a SmackDown. Now, this is November sweeps. So people are watching this. I cannot blame it. I think it's going to be short-lived. I think it's going to go back and forth. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see when everything happens. Let me give this another idea to you. Let's talk about this. One of our favorite people, Mr. Bacon himself, Kevin Owens. Last night, him and Sami Zayn come out. There's words between Shane and New Day, and none of these guys have really anything to do for Survivor Series. And I don't think they're going to have infighting at Survivor Series, but just by the way they indicate, just by the way that they're kind of mentioning there's no loyalty on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, do you see them possibly interfering and causing trouble for the SmackDown brand?
I mean, that is exactly what I was thinking when that was all going down. Is,
right.
You know, if they get involved and cause SmackDown to lose here, or maybe they end up on Raw somehow by helping their team win. You know, I don't know where this is going, but certainly looks like the angle. At least they tease that as a possibility where they could get involved. Neither one of them has a match. They obviously have a bit of a vendetta against, you know, Shane O'Mac, as well as, you know, the rest of the guys that did make the team on SmackDown. So that's exactly where I went with it is, wow, yeah, they could get involved and end up costing them and stir up a whole situation on SmackDown, which would be fun to watch the aftermath of, I think.
I think it would too. And not only that, it'll just add an element of anxiety while we're watching Survivor Series, knowing that any second Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could possibly ruin it for their television series. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I mean, was it fun? Was it cute? Becky and Ellsworth. Did we talk about this or did we pass?
I'm going to pass.
Yeah, let's pass on this.
I mean, I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about there. You know, obviously
right.
The breakup or apparent breakup of Carmella and Ellsworth. I don't know that I care anymore.
But this, you know,
we've seen it before.
So, you know, with this women's revolution, we've talked about this. It's really a sad state. It's not just us talking about this. It's really everybody on the internet, you know, and it's really just a sad situation because we joke about they all meet backstage, they all bicker, and then, of course, they're all out in some sort of form, 3-on-3, Fatal 4, Fatal 5, Fatal 6, Fatal Ocho, who knows? So tonight what they did was, you know, they had Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch, and, well, they brought out all the superstars again. It fathoms me way. It just blows my mind that there can't be a one-on-one. There can't be any type of rivalry. Hey, did you steal my boyfriend? Let's fight. You know, I'm better than you. Let's fight. I hate you. Let's fight. Let's have a storyline together. I don't understand this. You have extremely talented women. And then another thing, too, next week, with All Eyes, because I really do believe that they're really conscious, obviously, with money, and especially with November sweeps, that Charlotte takes on Natalya. Any chance in hell an AJ situation happens and Charlotte goes over?
I mean, that's what I'd love to see. I would love to see Alexa versus Charlotte.
I think everybody will.
You know, at Survivor Series. I would much rather see that match. Nothing against Natty, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was a good call. So, you know, that's about the only interesting thing going on. You know, the match tonight with Ellsworth against Becky was just, I mean, there was absolutely no physicality in the match. I think they shoved each other twice. That was it. I mean, it was a lot of flopping around the ring and bouncing off the ropes, but just nothing. And they wasted an opportunity to put another girl against Becky and showcase them. You know, do a lumberjack match, bring all the girls out there, whatever, but let's see Carmella against her. Let's see, you know, whatever it is. You know, they're one segment that they get, and they throw a dude in there. you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just, you know, I'm where you are with the whole women's division. It's been a bit disappointing, and even more so really on SmackDown because they're so limited, you know, with only 2 hours and just not getting a decent storyline. So, you know, maybe this will be a change of pace if Charlotte can win the title. I think that could change, you know, everything with the division. And, you know, she's certainly the best athlete on the roster on either show for my money. And she's great at promos, you know, and hasn't really had the opportunity to do that. And when she's been champion and cutting promos in the ring, it's certainly been one of my favorite parts of women's wrestling over the last, you know, couple of years. You know, she's that good, you know, definitely on the level of somebody like Alexa, who's been killing it. So they need that on SmackDown. And so I would love to see that for Charlotte. No offense to Natty. She's a great wrestler, not necessarily great on promos, and just doesn't command the attention of someone like Charlotte Flair.
It's also very cartoonish with Natty. Poor Natty. Why is she pretending to be like this very bad girl? Like she's a bad girl. And not only that, it's you know, this whole, she's a little crazy. She's also the cat lady thing. Is this really the direction of a champion? Also, what's very interesting is Charlotte. And I'm being serious. Yeah, it's weird. You have this golden opportunity to finally get the strap. Unless they told her, listen, these are our plans. We need someone to hold the title. Thank you for your service for the last 10 years or whatever. Plus, we've never seen Charlotte as a face champion. And that should be interesting as well. So, not only that, it gives other opportunities for other people because it's so much easier to be a heel. It's so much more fun. And I think Charlotte's kind of mature beyond her years, to be honest. I mean, have you ever seen a female who said, you know what, I really don't want to be a wrestler. Let me try this NXT thing, and really has just dominated the way she has inside that ring? I mean, you go back. Yeah.
I mean, very, very quickly, you know, rose to become multi-champion, you know, multi-time champion now. I mean, she has one of the best physiques in the division. Definitely, you know, one of the best performers in the ring. And like I said, promo-wise, I mean, she's well beyond her years. It's like she's been doing this for 10 years, but we all know her pedigree. So
right.
I'm certain that helps with Dad in the corner.
Well, I tell you what, just a short history about it. And this whole week has been kind of just, I mean, you should see my Twitter. It's amazing the massive crush I have for Ric Flair and just paying homage to him, as we should. I mean, he's an icon. He's a god, you know. And but when I heard Charlotte Flair was going to be part of NXT, I thought, okay, great, it's nepotism. I mean, it's amazing. I think she's amazing inside that ring athletically. Take away the gimmick. Obviously, it was really a brainchild, kind of being the female version of the Nature Boy. But she's phenomenal inside that ring. And when she speaks on the mic, we feel it. She believes in that gimmick, and she's dominant. And, okay, say we don't make her champion. Give her opportunities to wrestle other people, like a Carmella. Make Carmella look a little better. And there's nothing wrong with to rekindle a Becky Lynch type of feud. They may have some plans they're not really talking about. Not to mention one of the best performers, Naomi, lost in the shovel. All right, we're going to move on with this. Rusev, Randy Orton. The reason I'm mentioning this is one simple reason: the chance of Rusev Day. And Randy lands the RKO. Now, Rusev had an opportunity to be that fifth man. We still don't know who the fifth man is, by the way. So that should be interesting. I tell you what, this was very, very anticlimactic SmackDown, with the exception of the final 10 minutes. And maybe the indication that KO and Sammy will turn their backs. And I hope they do. It's awesome. Let them build on to this heel momentum here. Was there anything that stood out for you that you actually enjoyed?
Well, I don't know if I enjoyed it, but you know, the tag team championship match was certainly interesting, and the implications coming out of of what happened there, and I'm not certain that wasn't a completely botched finish. It looked like Jey Uso actually got hurt, either broke his. I watched the replay times. It looked like he possibly broke his ankle or broke his shin or badly sprained his ankle or sprained his knee. I mean, he got clipped pretty hard with basically a chop block, or what they'd call a chop block in football, outside of the ring. And then what you saw was, the reason I thought, this has to be potentially real, is because Shelton Benjamin just stood in the ring and let him get counted out. And if you're trying to win the championship, why would you ever let that happen? Run out there, throw his ass in a ring, and pin him, or do whatever. But it certainly appeared like he may be actually hurt. And if he is, what does this mean? Are we going to have a tournament for new champions before Survivor Series? Does Jimmy wrestle on his own or find a new partner? Or is he really not hurt? But he certainly was selling it, and it certainly appeared by the replay like he might have actually been injured. But one of the giveaways for me was just watching Shelton Benjamin just standing there, literally. And I think he was thinking he was either getting back in the ring or he was really hurt, but didn't want to do anything. What did you notice that?
Yeah, 100%. It was just awkward, and I thought maybe this is just a work, but then I'm like, okay, well, something's not right here. So that's something I may go back later on tonight and watch again, try to dissect it. But I guess all answers will be come to a conclusion, of course, next week. As they're bringing it all out, by the way, next week. We're going to see Brock. We're going to see Roman. We're going to see, obviously, Charlotte and Natalya for next week. So it should be interesting. Of course, we kind of have to figure out what's going on with this tag situation, as you mentioned. So it should be interesting. Other than that, I think SmackDown was a little bit uneventful, and it was a little frustrating. So we're going to move on to one of our favorite segments right now. And by the way, if you're listening, this is the Code Break. Follow Coder at CodeRock874. That's CodeRock874. Or go to his website at CodeRockStreetwear.com. The number is 844-627-3352. So now we're going to go to the segment that we always have. This is where I go ahead and I ask Mr. Coder some of our Twitter poll questions. I already asked him one of them. And then I obviously had to deal with when will or how long will AJ Styles keep the strap? And you said till Rumble, correct?
Yeah, I'll go with the Rumble, yeah.
Well, the options were drops it at Jinder at India, loses at Clash of the Champions, has it till Rumble, or has it till Mania. 44% said has it till Mania. But 32% says drops it in India. And that poll, of course, is still on. Check out the Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, at Live Morning Show. There are a lot of poll questions. We also extended the days on them, and hopefully we'll get some great turnout as the next couple of days go on. And, of course, I put out the leaked poster of Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal with John Cena as a special guest ref. And, of course, that was probably a swerve to us. And, of course, I based it with fake news across. And that was courtesy of an idea I got from, of course, Brent Coder. All right, so
you're welcome.
Yes, this truly was a question that I did ask. With the excitement for Ric Flair documentary, when will you watch? I asked this because I thought it was important for today. You'd be surprised. I'm just going to tell you what this is. When are you going to watch The Nature Boy 30 for 30? 41% said, well, it's kind of late. Watch it tomorrow. But 35% said, can't wait, watching it at 10 o'clock. Sadly, 18% said, not really in a rush. This is a question I brought up to you, Coder. Will KO and Sammy betray SmackDown? The options are yes, no, could, will happen sooner. Will KO and Sammy betray SmackDown at Survivor Series? Yes, no, could, or will happen sooner. What do you think the world said on this Twitter poll question?
Man, it could happen sooner. What if they went after the people on the team and injured a couple people so they could get a couple spots? I mean, all of this might get really interesting. Man, I didn't think about it happening a little bit sooner. I'll go with yes at Survivor Series. They will. Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Owens is so smug. That can you imagine? Can you imagine if Shane has nobody else? And KO and Sammy are on that team. And the whole just week leading up to it and after Survivor Series. You needed us. You needed us. Oh, my God.
It would be great. I'd almost love it better if they did that. I never thought of that until you just mentioned it. But, man, that would be great if they just took out everybody, and it ended up being them and whoever else. We stuck with Shane. I mean.
That is brilliant.
They win it. They
win my God.
Team and they win it. And
best friends.
Never hear the end of it from Kevin Owens. I mean, that would just be epic.
Well, right now, Team SmackDown, Shane, Randy, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura. I could see them taking out Randy Orton. Because let's just face it, if Randy got a day off, he's fine. I could almost... Can you imagine they take out Randy Orton literally right before the match? Oh, my God, who's going to take over? And they still don't have that... They still don't have that fifth man. So say the fifth man is just maybe somebody like a Dolph Ziggler, for example. They take out Randy. They take out Dolph right before Survivor Series. And Shane's like, and Shane has to turn to them. That's just brilliant. That is awesome.
I mean, it's almost got to play out like this now, right? I mean, I can't imagine a better scenario. That would be great for the whole roster. Like you said, we don't really need to see Randy in action. It wouldn't hurt him to have a night off. And,
right.
Man, that would just be great for months after that if, KO had that over Shane McMahon. I mean, man, yeah, a lot of possibilities there, but it would certainly... it would certainly be great for the show in my mind.
Or I could see another thing happening if they don't betray SmackDown. I mean, if SmackDown continues without Kevin Owens and Sammy, and they find a fifth person, whoever that might be, like a Dolph Ziggler, let's just say that. Then I'm thinking to myself, what happens if KO and Sammy show up out of nowhere and actually help SmackDown? I mean, it's almost the same thing, really. There's added heat, and then there's this ego that goes to a whole new level. Shane, you couldn't have won this without me and my best friend. I mean, I'm loving this. I mean, I can see them almost in a Christian and Edge type of way coming out of nowhere in hoodies or like a mask. I mean, that would be hilarious. So let's move on from that. But once again, will KO and Sammy betray SmackDown Survivor Series? 57% say yes. Now, we might have come to the conclusion where it might happen a little bit earlier. Well, this tonight, because I did not want to ask too many questions, because of the fact that I didn't want any spoilers. Usually I ask questions about the direction of what the card is going to be and stuff like that. That's it. That concludes our Twitter poll questions, Coder. Can't believe it. Well, Coder, this was definitely interesting these last couple days. We saw the tag titles change hands. Probably the one thing I'm upset about the most is the No Usos versus the Shield. There might not even be no Usos whatsoever. We're going to have to find out in the next couple days, if not next week. AJ Styles, congratulations. He beats a very good friend of mine, the Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. So a lot of things are lined up for next week, and I ask you this question. Foreshadowing for next week with the return of Roman, with Brock Lesnar, would still pretty much figure out the rest of that SmackDown roster, and new feuds that seem to be started this past couple days. What is one thing you're looking forward to next week?
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to how this all plays out with Kevin Owens. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with the Uso situation. Do we have, any number of things? I mean, there's so many possibilities. Looking back at this show and thinking about it the way we've been talking about some of the things that they've set up, it could get really interesting. Are the Usos even going to be able to wrestle? Is Jay really hurt? Does KO and Sammy attack the people that are currently on Shane's team? I mean, a lot of things could go down. Do we see Lesnar show up on SmackDown? We still haven't seen retaliation from the Raw brand. You would expect to see that at some point, but we've gotten, as the New Day said, nothing so far from the Raw roster. So yeah, we could see. I'm expecting to see some good wrestling next week. Certainly some crazy things going down with, the battle of the two brands just ahead. You would certainly expect to see Raw retaliation. And there's so many what ifs with the SmackDown roster right now. With Charlotte, we could see a new women's champion. We could see new tag champions or a new partner for Jimmy. Just so many different things going on. We have a new champion in AJ, who's now going to be facing the Beast. I mean, a lot of talk all night long about that matchup, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it next week for sure.
It's a shame. I think AJ and Brock kind of sells itself. I would love for AJ to be honest, appear on Raw next week. Give it one last build. So we'll see. Coder, I appreciate your time as always, and hopefully very soon we'll talk about the Nature Boy documentary, which the hashtag Nature Boy has its own emoji. It is phenomenal. Everybody's been talking about that the last couple of days. So once again, we don't want to talk about it right now. I mean, it's just a great wrestling documentary. We don't want to give away anything too specific because I hate when that happens. I got to give the 6 to 7 day rule. 6 to 7 day rule. So we got 6 more days and we can talk about it. We'll probably talk about it without a doubt next Tuesday. Coder, thank you for everything as always, my friend.
All right, Mardell. I'll talk to you next week, man.
All right. Thank you, brother.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
It's always good to have Coder on the program. Remember to follow him at CodeRock874. That's CodeRock874. It's always great to have Coder on the program. We went through a lot. We talked about SmackDown, and really, it was truly uneventful. Some of the highlights of the week, though, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. It was great to see them together. The debut of Pete Dunne, especially in Manchester, United Kingdom. The UK champion, why not? Hopefully he becomes a fixture and sticks around. Now, of course, titles have changed both nights in a row. We know last night, of course, AJ defeating the Maharaja Jinder Mahal. 2 nights ago, Monday Night Raw, with a bro kick, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. They beat the titles. Sorry, they beat the champs, Seth and Dean, and they're your new Raw Tag Team Champions. We saw some great promo work from The Miz, Samoa Joe and Finn. Braun beat the out of Miz. Kane is also in the picture. What does the future hold is going to be the question we're going to be trying to figure out this entire week. And of course, next week, Brock is on Raw. Not to mention the return of Roman Reigns. I cannot imagine SmackDown Live truly showing up, but I can't imagine Raw going and finally getting retaliation. Finally getting retaliation on SmackDown. That should be Tuesday, and that should be exciting. Also on Tuesday, Natalya and Charlotte. They're facing each other for the SmackDown Women's title. Also, next week, we're going to talk about this again, of course. This entire week has been just a great build-up. Great build-up for the Nature Boy documentary. We don't spoil anything. I don't like that. Not a big fan of that. So we're going to be talking about that, of course, next week. We'll definitely get Coder's opinion on that entire process as well. So this is how Survivor Series is shaping up. We do know Alexa Bliss is taking on Natalya or Charlotte. The Miz will be taking on Baron Corbin or Sin Cara. So next week, we're going to find out. Corbin or Sin Cara versus The Miz. Team Raw, Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Jason Jordan. Of course, Jason Jordan was the fifth man. The nepotism. But Kurt doesn't care. He trusts him. Team SmackDown, Shane, Randy, Bobby, and Shinsuke Nakamura with a fifth slot to be open. And if you listened to earlier in the program, myself and Coder talked about some very funny, possible realistic situations that could occur involving Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. And that's for the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. Now, for the women's traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series, Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Asuka, Sasha Banks. One more to be announced. SmackDown, Becky, Charlotte, Naomi, Carmella, Tamina. Enzo versus Kalisto. That's going to be for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now the tag titles, of course. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Usos. What is the state, health-wise, for the Usos? Where does the Shield play into this? Where does the New Day play into this? Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. That's worth the price of admission right there. Even though I am sad the Usos and the Shield will not go to face-to-face. So there's a lot of people out there that really don't have a lot of stuff to do. Rusev, as we mentioned, the New Day, Sammy, Kevin Owens. A lot of people. We'll see how that works out as well. So next week's going to be big because we're going to talk Tuesday and Wednesday morning about Raw and SmackDown. Then, of course, we always have a show revolving around Survivor Series. We've done a couple different shows. We try to take your pulse and see what your story is, as a matter of fact. And usually we do the show one of two ways, right after the pay-per-view, or we do it right before the kickoff of the pay-per-view. Kind of just talk out loud, get your opinions, get your thoughts about a lot of things. It's been a very good week. I have to say, there's so many people that I meet on Twitter, so many people I like to talk to and conversate. They're just cool fans, man. So many people have ulterior motives or a lot of hate behind their messages, and that's fine. Want to give a shout out to Rhino718. He's a fan of the show. Mr. Eric Paul, who's on Twitter. We're going to get him on the show very soon. So many other people I want to give a shout out to, but Nikki Lovely. At Nikki Lovely, thank you. It's like corresponding with these people. Remember some of the hashtags that we created. Why I love Ric Flair. Join that conversation. Also, probably the best one in the last couple months. KO's Bacon. KO's Bacon. I want to thank Broadcast Row, the network that provides this show. I also want to thank everybody behind the scenes at the Wrestling Morning Show. This show is going to go on demand. Listen to it in podcast form in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. You guys want to leave a message, a voicemail or text, the number's always the same. It's always available, 844-627-3352. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. Also subscribe to the podcast in iTunes and Google Play. For everybody around the world who is listening, for everybody around the world who supports this show, thank you, and be good.